All right, everybody. Well, just like that, we're back. 3 minutes ago, we're talking Zed Run. Now we're talking about another exciting project, F1. So we've got Matt here to walk us through some of the basics. He's going to do a little PowerPoint. We're going to do a little demo. It's going to be pretty exciting. And then we're going to do kind of the same format we've been doing. We're going to do a little Q&A afterwards and talk about what we're looking at. And I'll be monitoring the chat, of course. So with that said, Matt, I'll let you take it away and tell the people what we're doing here.
Sounds good. Thanks, Max. I'm Matt. I'm an ex Formula 3 and GT3 racer myself, and I joined Animoca Brands sort of late last year. But I've been working on the REVV Motorsport project, and especially with doing a lot of work around F1 Delta Time, which is our the kind of the first game in the REVV Motorsport ecosystem, which is built by Animoca. So it's been a very exciting time. And if it's cool, I'll just run through a couple slides on F1. So just kind of looking back to see how we kind of got to where we are. The first ever F1 Delta Time car, which was called the 111, actually sold for 415.9 ETH around, it was quite early last year. So that was way before we had a proper game and anything really developed. So it was really exciting to see the kind of the excitement around the F1 brand and an NFT like that. It was actually the most expensive NFT at the time. And then later, at the end of last year, we sold a segment of the Monaco Grand Prix event, which sold for $220,000 US. So it's been a very exciting time over the last kind of 12 to 18 months. The game's been kind of 2 years in development with the whole ecosystem kind of being built out. So looking at Formula One as a brand, it's got an incredible global market reach with around 1.9 billion cumulative viewers. So we thought, what better way to kind of kick off a motorsport ecosystem than having, the best of the best kind of spearhead that whole project, that being Formula One. So F1's broadcast in 200 territories, and it's one of the fastest growing sports on social media. And I think that's been largely helped with the success of the Netflix series Drive to Survive. I know a lot of fans in the US especially have kind of caught on to F1 in the last in the last year or two. So yeah, it's very exciting to see the growth of Formula One. It's a sport that's kind of very dear to my heart. So it's it's awesome to see that grow year on year. So going into F1 Delta Time, we're an officially licensed F1 blockchain game. And how it works is essentially it's a play to earn game where players get our ecosystem's token, the REVV token, and they buy NFTs, which can be from drivers to tires to car parts to suspension, engines, and ultimately even circuit segments. You can buy event segments. You can buy pieces of a different Grand Prix event, such as the Grand Prix in Texas, and the Circuit of the Americas, or you can buy an event segment of Monaco, for example. So you kind of put all your NFTs together in the garage and workshop, which I'll show in a little bit, and you put them together and actually race them on track. There are a couple different modes in which you can kind of play to earn, and if you finish if you place on the leaderboard at the end of the week, you actually earn in either REVV tokens, other Animoca Brands partner tokens, or even NFTs. So it's there's a lot of ways you can earn here. Just going back to the NFTs, like I said, everything in the game is a non-fungible token. And a lot of the game is about how you kind of maximize your different assets to go out on track. So for example, if you have a circuit like Monaco, one of the most famous iconic Formula One circuits, which is racing around the streets of Monaco, you want a car that's maybe slightly more nimble and slightly more agile. So you would put some, grip stats and less high speed. You don't want the kind of the maximum top speed. You would want a lot of acceleration, for example. And then for the driver, you might want someone that's, got a very high in concentration, maybe less aggressive and has good stamina and focus, something like that. So it's a very interesting way of kind of how you manage your car composition in the different modes that we have. So then, like I said, the workshop and garage is where you really customize everything, where you put everything together, and that's something that I might be able to go through if I show you the website. So let me just pop that up on screen. So this is the F1 Delta Time website. As you can see, there's a current Grand Prix event going with a prize pool of 120,000 rev. We've got a number of different trophies, which are NFTs as well. And we've also got some keys, which are essentially loot boxes with a number of items in there that we're doing as prizes for this event as well. So going down here, you can see the current, time trial pool of the different tiers. Tier A being the kind of most high performance, Tier B, Tier C, and Tier D scaling down from that, depending on how your kind of composition score kind of plays out, depending on the NFTs that you have. So jumping into the garage here, you can see all the different NFTs that I've got. Got a pair of gloves, drivers, suspension. Then with this, you've got the season 2020, season 2019, and hopefully we'll be bringing out the season 2021 soon as well. So, you've got all the different parts, different NFTs, and if you see down here, this is the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, which is the event for the Belgian Grand Prix. So that's a segment that I own as well. And how the segments work is essentially you play a landlord. It's a digital real estate. So you own a segment of the spa circuit of that event, and every time someone runs on the event, you essentially collect rent, which is a pretty cool system for kind of let's call it passive income generation. So then looking at the workshop, this is where you put your car together. So as you can see, there's no car selected right now. So I'll jump in there, and I've got 2 cars to choose from. So let's say we'll go and jump in the Italy circuit today. So I want something with a little bit more stats, so something that's a little bit faster. So I'd equip it with a power unit, which is essentially the engine, and then maybe what else do I have here? I've got a rear wing. Do I have a front wing? I'll check a rear wing on there. So this one, dominated in in green is the kind of the rare asset. So I'll chuck that on here. I got to go into my driver and see what kind of what I can put together. There I've only got one driver, so I'll select the Sabre driver. So here's really like, for a lot of the guys that are playing this every day, they spend hours, they've got spreadsheets to kind of put all this together and really figure out what's the best composition for the different circuits and stuff. So the current staking pool has just finished, but we recently gave away, we recently had a staking pool of around 8 million rev, which is around $1.6 million in current, in today's kind of in today's value. So that was a big pool where lots of players were able to stake their NFTs. So they staked their 2019 cars in order to kind of generate rev tokens as well. So this is the time trial mode, which is a fairly kind of straightforward mode, which puts your pure car composition to the test. So here we're in Singapore today. The weather is dry, so you want maybe you want a set of tires to reflect that. So you want probably the soft tires, which are the kind of the perfect tires for dry weather. So you want to equip that, and then you want to jump in and press play. So it's essentially just a count up timer, let's say, which counts your lap time based on the car composition that you have. So this is quite a, let's say, quite a passive mode and a more strategic mode where you really want to kind of maximize your car. But let's jump into the kind of the more exciting side of it. If I can click out of here. No, I might just have to, we might just have to let the timer finish. So yeah, this is, there's a few kind of hints on the screen to see what, to kind of give you an idea of what the circuit's all about. Like Singapore is quite a twisty circuit. It's a street circuit as well. So it tells you, you might want some more grip and stuff like that. So as you can see there, I've just finished third on the leaderboard, which I'm sure won't stand because as the other guys start jumping in throughout the day, I'll probably fall down a little bit in the order, but that's okay. So then you go on a leaderboard there, and as you can see, we've got additional prizes of more of these keys that we're giving away. So yeah, let's jump into the Grand Prix mode. And as you can see here, we have lots of different circuits and events going on. We've got the Australian Grand Prix, the Bahrain Grand Prix in different weather, so it's dry with the Bahrain Grand Prix. But let's jump into Italy. Italy is one of my favorite circuits, so we're going to do that. So you got to confirm your team, your car and driver that you selected in the workshop, and then you're going to equip a set of tires like I just mentioned before. Again, Italy's dry, so you probably want to select the softer slick tires. I'll equip that, and as you can see, it's put me in tier C. So that's based on the car composition and the car composition score. So I had, I think, over 6,000 points, team points. So that's put me in tier C. So let's have a quick look at what a lap looks like. You're going to have to, so you sign in with your MetaMask. You have to kind of click confirm that you want to start a try. And then you load into the game. So this is probably going to take a second or two while it boots up. But this is a more hands-on kind of, it's the more hands-on aspect of the game where you don't control your car and how it turns, but you control its speed. So you press the up arrow key to accelerate, the down arrow key to brake, and then the space bar to kind of boost in the section of the track which it tells you to boost on. So as you can see here, this is where the start-finish straight of the Monza circuit, and you've got that little green area to boost. You've got sector 1, sector 2, and then there's another boost area. So let's just jump in. So as you can see here, we're just coming around the last corner. So just getting ready to start a lap. So there, you want to hit the space bar when you get into that boost, and then you want to press the up arrow key to accelerate. I don't know how how good this is coming up on the screen. It might be a little bit laggy with the kind of frame rates, but I'm getting on mine. I'm getting over kind of 60 to 80 FPS. So then coming through here, you want to just have a light tap on the brakes, and Monza is a very high-speed circuit. So again, going through the boost zone, so you want to press space. So it's great to see my NFT car racing on circuit, and I'm actually there. So I went a little bit too fast in the corner, and the rear just skidded out there. But yeah, like I said, it's awesome to kind of be able to race the NFTs that you have, and hopefully do well enough to place on the leaderboard, so that you're able to earn something from your efforts there. So that's one quick lap of the Monza circuit in Italy, and yeah, that's essentially I guess F1 Delta time in a nutshell. So I'll pass it back to you, Max.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've kind of covered the gambit there. There's just so many features that it's hard to know where to start. But the first thing that I thought I'd bring up to chat about is the first NFT sold for 415 ETH. Did I see that right?
Yeah, you did. That was obviously back.
How did that come about?
So it's it essentially, it was the first official F1 NFT, and so there was a lot of excitement and buzz around that. But the funny thing is, the gentleman that actually bought that 111, it was called, was actually Metakoven.
Wow.
So
It's a
you
big
know,
name.
it is a big name. So he's been a very kind of active part of our ecosystem, and has purchased a few kind of the big ticket NFTs.
Wow, that's very cool. And the one thing that strikes me as really interesting about the F1 platform and like what you guys are doing in general is that it seems like kind of like an expansive universe from the perspective of there's a lot of different ways to earn and a lot of ways to play. You guys are one of the first projects that actually has both like the collecting and the strategy side and then like the playing side where you actually like play the game. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about like just like segmenting the different ways that you can earn and the different ways to play in F1.
Sure, yeah. So obviously, ran through the website fairly quickly, but every so often we have staking pools. The one that just ended, actually, I think a few days ago, was a staking pool that had around 8 million rev. So in today's kind of in the value of rev today, that's equal to around 1.6 million US. And you've got obviously different tiers of cars. You've got the Apex, which is the one of one, and then you've got the legendaries all the way down to common. So based on kind of your rarity level of your car, you have different staking capabilities. So obviously with the legendaries and the Apexes taking kind of a higher percentage of the pool, and the kind of the commons and rares taking a slightly lower percentage. Then you've got time trial, which you have to finish in the I think it's either the top 10 or the top 50 on the leaderboard, to win some like we had with this week's time trial. We've got some keys on reward, and we also have a pool of rev tokens. And then, like we just saw there with the Grand Prix mode, again, if you finish on the leaderboard at the end of the week for a Grand Prix, we have a prize pool of a number of rev tokens, and oftentimes we've done partnerships with some of the other Animoca brands portfolio companies, like the Sandbox. We've given away certain special NFTs, collaborations, and different tokens as well. So there's a lot of ways in a week that you can actually earn some rev and other things.
So you mentioned Rev a couple times there. Could you kind of take us a little bit deeper into kind of what Rev is and maybe how people could get it?
Sure. So Rev is the utility token for the Rev Motorsport ecosystem, and under the ecosystem, it's got all the games that are built by Animoca brands, such as we've got F1 Delta Time, we've got MotoGP Ignition, we've got Formula E High Voltage, and we've got our new kind of original title called Rev Racing, which is coming out very, very soon. So there's a lot of things happening and a lot of very exciting things in the ecosystem, all powered by the Rev Motorsport, by the Rev token. So it's essentially a cross-title token, and it kind of powers all the play to earn games that we have.
Okay. And where can people get, I mean, does it trade on like exchanges and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it trades on a number of different exchanges. You can head to revmotorsport.com to see kind of a full list of the exchanges, but it's an ERC20. So if you've got a MetaMask and you've got some ETH in your MetaMask, you can head over to revmotorsport.com again, and there's a swap function on the website itself, or you can head to Uniswap and swap some ETH for Rev as well. So anywhere that you can find, you can swap
And so
tokens.
you need to, like, in order to play, right, you need to have kind of like the cars and the equipment and build your, repertoire in terms of like the items that you have. And then you also need to like develop skills in the game. Like, I think if I remember correctly, right, you can buy like the equipment and everything you need on OpenSea to start racing and kind of bootstrap yourself into being able to actually go out there and compete, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you can head over to OpenSea now and have a look at all the assets that are on offer. All the ones that are in the marketplace now are either the 2019 season or the 2020 season. So at the start of each kind of F1 season, we normally put out like a content sale, where we have like these loot boxes, whether they're keys or crates, to for players to actually get a bundle, like blind bundle of what they get. So after those are kind of sold, anything unsold we actually either keep for rewards or we burn them. So everything that's in the marketplace now, we're not going to make more of. So it's a very kind of finite supply of assets that are out there.
Wow. So everything is constantly turning over. There's new features, new parts, new everything. And then the old stuff is the old stuff. And that's all there will ever be of that different.
Yeah. Exactly. So every new, we've got obviously we're in the 2021 season right now. So we're hopefully putting that content out soon. But with all the other seasons, we still support it in game. Like you can race your 2020 content, you can race your 29 content. And how a lot of people do it is they think, okay, I need a little bit more of this, I need a little bit more of that, and then they go on OpenSea and actually look through the different stats of the different NFTs and kind of cherry pick what they want. So it's very interesting to kind of see how people are kind of building up their teams and cars and stuff.
Cobble it together and create different combinations. So another question I wanted to ask you is just what developments are in the works? I know that you talked about how you're in the 2021 season right now. Where have you guys kind of developed from in the last 6 months, right? And what are you focused on for the rest of 2021, the rest of this season, and then building for the future as well?
Yeah, well, so sort of looking at where we came from, 8 months ago, we didn't really have a kind of full-blown playable Grand Prix mode. So we just had staking, time trial, and a few kind of what we call elite time trial events, but we didn't have a game. So we're really kind of trying to flesh out the system, really putting giving more utility to these assets through the F1 Delta Time play to earn ecosystem, but also through the larger kind of connecting the entire Rev Motorsport ecosystem. So there's a lot we've got going in the pipeline. With F1, we're looking to build a number of features, potentially even looking at a multiplayer feature. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on. The team are flat out hard at work trying to build all of those. So it's very exciting.
One theme I think we've been seeing throughout the conference and today is just that we're very early, right? There's new features being built out, and then there's new features that are going to be shipped and deployed consistently throughout the next 6 months. And I mean, looking into the next couple of years, right? And so for you guys, right, you've got the Rev token that kind of underpins the whole ecosystem, and then people can use that to deploy it across a number of different properties or games, and even across a number of different assets, right? Like there's all these unique things that are rolling out, and you can make combinations to create the best possible racer to try to go out there and win like time trials and events and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. The right now I think we're still as much as we've got going on, I think we're still at the very kind of the tip of the iceberg with what we're trying to build out at Rev Motorsport. And I think as the year goes on, you're gonna see the development of MotoGP Ignition. You're gonna see the development of Formula E High Voltage, and we're gonna have that obviously that new original title, Rev Racing, which will be another completely new experience for players to kind of get into the ecosystem, play the games, earn Rev tokens, and if they let's say they earn it in Rev Racing or they earn it in MotoGP, they can always come back to Formula One, to F1 Delta Time, and spend the Rev tokens there and continue to kind of on their sort of play to earn journey. So it's a very exciting time, and I can't wait to see what we have at the end of the year.
Exactly. And you know what? We're coming kind of to the end of the time here. But before we go, I want to ask you one kind of big picture question, kind of something kind of vague. Is that all right?
Sure.
All right. So what I want to ask is just what makes you the most excited about the future of F1, or even, the future of play to earn gaming in general? Because it's such a new space. There's so much yet to come. What gets you the most excited?
So Max, I'm going to throw you something probably super cliche, but I'm really excited for something that hasn't even been developed yet, right? Like I'm excited for all these incredible companies and incredible people in the ecosystem to develop something that we can't even we haven't even dreamt up yet. And I think with F1, I think I'm really excited for just to see how the kind of interoperability of the ecosystems will kind of play out with all the different metaverses, and all the different kind of different games and everything all coming to a big kind of melting pot of one. So yeah, let's see.
So my big picture question led to kind of a big picture ephemeral answer. Just that the things that you're most excited for and the things I think we all are most excited for are the applications that haven't even been thought of yet, that haven't even been attempted to be built yet. But as the infrastructure continues to be built up over the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, who knows what might be possible. And I think you guys are kind of on the front lines of trying to build out this initial system where people can play to earn, people can collect, they can do all sorts of things. And I think that the fact you guys had that huge sale early on kind of augured that eventual growth and development of even the ecosystem as a whole. But we went big picture for a second, but as we can conclude here, I want to ask you one more time, where can people find you guys? I mean, is it the easiest way to go to the website and join the Discord, or what's the best way?
Yeah, definitely. So head to the F1 Delta Time site. We've got a new kind of Rev Motorsport Discord, which covers all the games. And yeah, so we've got Discord, Telegram, all the socials, and you can head over to the website f1deltatime.com and revmotorsport.com to kind of find out everything.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for sticking with us. This is the end of our time, but we will see you guys in the next session. And thank you everybody for listening, and thanks Matt for the presentation.
Thanks, Max.